Alexander Graham Bell and the telephone. Who remembers a time where letters were the only way of communication? I mean, sure, we all have written letters to our loved ones, but thanks to the telephone and the newly improved cell phone, our primary form of communication does not have to be constant letters. Think about a time in which you did not have a cell phone or a telephone nearby. It's nearly impossible. I bet each one of you has a cell phone in your back pocket right now. That form of communication is all credited to the Alexander Graham Bell and his invention in 1876. Without a telephone at this point in my life, some of the activities I do would be nearly impossible. I credit most of my adventures in life to the telephone. It allows me to communicate faster with my friends, make plans, contact emergency help, along with many other things. It's my lifesaver. Let's take a moment to preview his life, his invention, and how he continues to progress and prosper worldwide. To begin, let's take a closer look at the extraordinary life of Alexander Graham Bell. Bell's education of speech and other subjects began at a very young age, and he always had an eye to create new machinery, even by accident. According to the article Alexander Graham Bell on the website FamousScientist.org, Bell's father taught elocution, which led to Bell's involvement in speech and forming new ways to create speech. Elocution is the ability to have clear and expressive speech articulation. Bell became rather good at science as well, and continued to excel in speech and English due to his father's teaching. However, Bell had weak health and suffered much loss to poor health which reigned in his family. Bell ended up moving to Canada to continue his education while he was sick. Stated in the article Alexander Graham Bell biography on biography.com, upon Bell's arrival to Canada, his health drastically improved. This caused him to stay in Canada and eventually move to the United States. Bell's mother was deaf, so after his creation of the telephone, he continued to help deaf people everywhere through the creation of the American Association to promote teaching of speech to the deaf. Throughout his entire work of the telephone, Bell patented 18 of his own and partnered 12 types of telephones. This did lead to some legal issues later in Bell's future, but thankfully he was never punished and won all of his legal battles. Now that you have learned more about Bell's past, next we are going to discuss the aspects of his invention. The telephone was invented as a way to improve the telegraph system, according to Telephone on Encyclopedia.com, but the telephone went through multiple stages throughout time. Bell began with a modified newer version of the telegraph system, which was created in the 1830s. In later versions, he created the basis of all current-day phones, the transmitter, receiver, and magnet. However, there were setbacks with this design, such as you had to yell very loudly to get your voice across the line. This made conversations difficult to comprehend and follow. Bell's team and business continued to strive to build more and more improved versions of the telephone in order to satisfy the growing consumer market. Bell furthered the work of the telephone to help all people in their daily lives, and it has still continued to this day. If you know anything about Bell's invention, you should know this line. Mr. Watson, come here. I need you. To continue, I would like to leave the past and come to the present and future of the telephone. Also, how Mr. Bell is still impacting our lives today. Bell was not always the brightest in all subjects of school at a young age, but once he began inventing different objects, he paved the way to the creation of an object we use daily. Technology today is based around the cell phone, also referred to as a telephone. The cell phone has saved millions of lives by giving people the opportunity to call for help in the need of a crisis. According to the Suicide Prevention Resource Center, 5 million people call their hotlines in need of help. This would never be achieved without the cell phone. Yes, the cell phone is completely different than it used to be 100 years ago. But without Bell's ideas and thoughts, viewing your emails and the weather would never be possible with the click of a button. Bell is not only a genius, but he was also just a common kid who built and created toys, even though he was sure it would not work. This is a perfect example of how anyone can make a difference in this world if they put their mind to it. Bell is truly an inspiration to all, because even after the telephone, he continued to work to improve the disabilities of others. Unfortunately, it is time to bring this short summarization of Alexander Graham Bell to a closing. I hope by learning more about Alexander Graham Bell, his invention, and his lifestyle, you can see that anything is possible as long as you believe in yourself. He set the bars for all of us to advance technologically and room for improvement to continue creating. The next time you are holding your phone dialing a call, pause and take a second and honestly thank Mr. Bell for saving our lives and brightening our futures. The journey of striving for better never ends. Alexander Graham Bell would want us to take his design and continue improving for the best possible outcome in honor of his most memorable work. Thank you.